what's up? My name is Ange. Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we are going to be going over these 7 books that I read in the month of June. This was actually a very good reading month for me in terms of I was reading a lot, which was really surprising, but at the same time I feel like I started off super strong, but when I was looking at the ratings later on in the month, it was kind of like, there it goes. So this is everything that I read in the month of June. Starting off during the month, I read The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. This was my book club read for the month of June, so you will get mine and my friends' full thoughts and feelings on that whenever we sit down and film it and I actually post it. So, kind of like a shortened version, this book is about Georgia Carter when she returns back to, I believe it's South Carolina, to be with her family after her father passes away. Their family does not have a very good dynamic. There's a reason that she lived in, is it London, I think she moved to, and she moved very far away. Her brother also moved very far away, and then she has 2 other siblings, so they go back home during the whole process of her father passing away. There she meets with her brother's AA sponsor, Sam Penny, and they got a little thing going on. Obviously everyone knows that because it's on here, so I feel like that's not a spoiler. Yeah. She is also a professional lie detector and body language savant. She is estranged from her infuriating, close-minded, wealthy South Carolina family. Amid the tensions, drama, and revelations of the family reunion, Georgia and Sam are instantly drawn to each other. And this is kind of their story of like going through the will and dealing with their father's passing and things like that. So let me pull up my review here. I ended up rating this book 4-ish stars. As someone who didn't like Magnolia Parks very much, now I did only read the first one. I do want to reread and continue it because I absolutely love this book and I thought it was really great. I really enjoyed the writing compared to Magnolia Parks. I know, probably a really unpopular opinion, but I really did enjoy this one, so I brought home Magnolia Parks to reread, and then I have the next book in the series, so I will be continuing. I just put it down and never picked it back up again. So, the writing felt very real, which is something I really appreciated and I really liked. I enjoyed the story so much that it was actually difficult for me to put down. I felt like because it felt so real, it was hard for me to put it down because I needed to know what happened. I have some issues with certain characters, but at the same time, they felt so real that them messing up was also very accurate. Not everything in life is perfect, and not everyone reacts the way that they should or reacts the right way, and I like that not everything was perfect, although that there are difficult things in this. Some of the characters really made me angry, but overall I really did enjoy it and I liked the things about it. So the month started off very strong when I picked this one up and enjoyed it so much. I'm really excited to talk about this with my friends, so stay tuned for that if you read this and also felt the same way. The next book I actually read on Kindle Unlimited, and that was Death Row by Frida McFadden. That book follows Talia Kemper, who's on death row for murdering her husband. She had an alibi and no known motive, yet Talia's unwavering protestations of innocence have always been ignored. Then one day in the visiting area, she sees a recognizable stranger she's certain is her husband. I read this very quickly. I think it was like 70, 80-ish pages, something like that. I saw it on Kindle Unlimited and I was like, download, it's Frida, of course. So I read it very quickly. I thought that this one was super interesting. I rated it 3 stars. It's a quick little novella, very interesting, and wasn't expecting it at all. Also, it's very sad because once you get to the ending, you're like, oh, like that's a twist that I wasn't expecting because it seems like it was going to go obviously off in a completely different thing over there. But for it to turn out how it did, like, can someone read it and talk to me about it, because no one I know has read this book and I physically like need to speak about it with somebody because it was that like, but because it was a novella, I feel like I couldn't truly give it anything other than 3 stars. Normally I don't rate novellas, same as I don't rate like true stories, like people's memoirs and stuff like that. I can't rate that, but this was like a different novella because it wasn't like a novella that's part of a series or something like that. So I felt like I could rate this and it was safe. So I rated it 3 stars. I think that was good. The next book that I read, this was actually in my continuation of series that I'm in the middle of, Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson, which is book number 2 in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder. There are 3 books and a novella that I haven't read the other book, obviously, yet. And the novella I have not read, even though technically I feel like that's first, but I'm gonna wait till the end. This one follows Pip, who's not a detective anymore, and she's trying to move on from her first experience in the first book, and she starts a true crime podcast. She says that she's done with that. She's not doing it anymore, blah, blah, blah. She's getting so much backlash on it. And then suddenly somebody that she knows goes missing, and she has to step up and do something about it because the police won't. I rated this one 3 stars. I wasn't sure how we were going to continue the story with doing basically the same thing that we did in the first book. So I was kind of iffy going into it, and it kind of felt that way at first, where it's okay, whatever, I don't really care for this again, but I want to continue it because I have all of the books. But it took a really big twist there, and I really ended up enjoying it, and it sets you up to have to read the 3rd book, which I liked. So I thought that was going to be good. I definitely will end up picking up the next one. I feel like I'm going to step away from it for a little bit and probably pick that up, and then the novella, feeling fall-ish time. But overall, this was it was good. I liked that it changed. Otherwise, it would have been the same old thing. But that twist that we had there, super, super interesting, and I really enjoyed that. Then the next book that I read, I actually buddy read this with Cameron. We were reading it at the same time, and I have not rated this book. This is a very, I feel controversial book, but I will not be getting into it at all. And the next book that I read that put me into a slump was Releasing 10 by Chloe Walsh. This was book number, is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? This is book number 6 in the Boys of Tommen series. Oh, I could have just read the front of the thing. It literally says number 6 on here. But I did read this. This was a hefty book, both in actual physically hefty book and in the topics that it does go over. So obviously, if you are going to read this, please look up what the triggers are, because it's very important going into this that you are aware of that. The only thing I'm really going to tell you, because it's I'm going to tell you 2 things, but I'm not really going to get into it because it is part of a series, so I don't want to ruin anything else if you have not read Boys of Tommen yet. So this is about Lizzie and Huey. So Huey Biggs is Claire's older brother, and it's Lizzie Young. So this one is actually set in the past, kind of like Saving Six was. So this is all, is it all pre? Yes, this is pre-Binding 13, because I believe that one starts in 2005. So this is all the background, which I really, really enjoyed. It's so hard because I never wrote a review. I didn't rate this. I don't really know how to talk about this book, besides the fact that I did like that the first book we got of Lizzie and Huey was background. I felt like that was completely necessary to their story and to tell you who they are, why they're like that. And as somebody who was really hesitant to read about Lizzie, I'm glad that I was able to get this view on her. So I have a completely different aspect to, I have a completely different view on her actions now. I have a completely different view on it now. So I felt like this was very needed for the story. Obviously, I understand that there are very heavy things that are talked about in this book, and if that's not for you and you can't read it, don't read it. But I did read it, and this one put me into a slump. So I think about this book every day. The next book that I read was Games Untold by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and this is kind of just a collection of short stories during the Inheritance game series. So it includes things such as, let's look. It's also beautiful. Are you serious? This cover? Are you kidding? It includes things such as That Night in Prague, The Same Backward as Forward, The Cowboy and the Goth, 5 times Xander tackled someone and 1 time he didn't, One Hawthorne Night, Secret Santa, What Happens in the Treehouse, and Pain at the Right Gun. Also has some... It's just super cute. I was reading this at the same time that I was reading Releasing 10, and I was glad that the book that I read at the same time, and also right after, because I finished Releasing 10 first, was something like this, because it was short stories, because like I said, that really put me into a slump, and I was like, how am I ever going to move on from this? But this was really good to go on to. I'm glad that I finally read it, so now that that's done. I rated this 3 stars. It's, like I said, a bunch of little novellas to give it a little more insight into different stories or point of views from within the Inheritance games. It's definitely really cute, and it was interesting to be able to revisit those characters. I do have the first book of the Grandest Games, that series, that I will be reading soon, but I wanted to finish this off before I started it. So I also have that one, but I was glad that I finally got to this. And again, a moment for the cover. Oh my god. Incredible. The next book that I read was Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. I put this up on, I actually made a TikTok about this, like, influencer or de-influenced my TBR, and I got a lot of mixed reviews on this one, and I'm sitting here opening the book, like reading the book, checking the TikTok, and being like, everyone doesn't like it. However, I've mixed feelings on it, because I don't know what everyone was really expecting from it, so that's why I feel a little like, I feel like that was an insane ending, but also I think it's interesting. This book is about Laurel Mack, who has the perfect daughter, Ellie Mack, who goes missing. 10 years after her daughter disappears, she's trying to put her life back together, and she meets a man in a cafe, and then she meets his daughter, who looks exactly like her missing daughter, obviously, but she's much younger. So you can kind of take ideas of what you think happened. I kind of had an inkling on what happened. I feel like it was revealed very, very early, but I also did enjoy it. It was a very quick read. It was interesting, the kind of time jumps that we did, because you got to see a little bit of Ellie's point of view at some points. It was mostly in the mother's point of view. I thought that the ending was obviously very interesting. I could see why it was going to be what it was very quickly, so I feel like there wasn't much of like a shock factor to it, except for the end. If you know, you know. I definitely am really glad I read it, because so many people have read it and talked about it, but it definitely wasn't life-changing. So I'm kind of in the middle about it. I only rated it 3 stars. Like I wrote in my review, I saw the twist a million miles away, but it was still an interesting and quick read. And then I said a little spoiler thing that I'm not going to share on here. But, you know, it was, I did see it coming. But overall it was good, and I'm glad that I read it, because I've had it on my shelf, so. I didn't listen to the TikTok comments, to everyone who told me don't waste my time. Don't waste my time. It wasn't what I was expecting, but it doesn't mean it was bad at all. And then, finally, the last book that I read, which actually I just finished before I filmed this video, was The Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. This book is about Lucy, who is a tourist vacationing at a beach house on Prince Edward Island. Felix is the local who shows her a very good time. The only problem is Lucy doesn't know he's her best friend's younger brother. Their chemistry is unreal. The list of reasons why they need to stay away from each other is long, and they vow to never repeat that electric night 5 years ago from when the story is currently taking place. There's a lot of time jumps happening here, and I have so many mixed emotions about it. I really did enjoy Carly Fortune's other 2 books previously, the Meet Me at the Lake and Every Summer After. Obviously, I read them so long ago. One thing about Carly Fortune is she is so descriptive with her writing, and I really enjoyed that part of it. Like, I didn't highlight anything, but it was like something about comparing like something to ice cream on a hot day, or something like just insane, that I was like, oh my god, like that's really great. So I have a lot of mixed emotions about it. I think that I'd only rate it 3 stars. I wasn't loving it. Like, it was good, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad by any means. I felt like I just wasn't super intrigued in it, and I don't know if that's me, but I did hear that a lot with this book, so I feel like maybe it's not. Overall, it was really good. And I loved the descriptiveness of the writing. I just felt like this kind of storyline wasn't for me. I was kind of like, just, guys, like, come on already. But overall, like, it was good. I'm glad I read it. I'm excited to get to One Golden Summer, but I'm not allowing myself to buy any books, so we'll see. So that's how I felt about this one. I literally just read the epilogue this morning and finished the book, so we're done. I am filming this on June 28th, so I have 2 more days left in the month, but I know that I am not going to be finishing 2 more books by Tuesday, so not worried about it. This month we read 7 books, and I feel like that is really good. I'm still way behind my reading goal, and I'm worried that I'm actually not going to hit it this year. I think I've read 30 of 90. I felt like I was reading so much more last year, but I am blaming that on Throne of Glass for putting me into a slump, and those books being so big that I'm not reading as much. I've literally read 2 books one of these months, so this was definitely a win this month for me. I haven't read this many books in quite a while, in a month span, so that's really awesome. But that brings this video to an end. Thanks for coming to my wrap up. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all next time.